Hello and welcome once more to my YouTube channel. Here we are going to take a look at 1886, and oh boy did the critics hated this one. So let's see what was all the fuss about. Why did it only score a miserable 63 on Metacritic? And why do you need to play it despite the bad critic scores? I want to start with the good things, because this game got beaten up by most critics already.
No use.
We need to address first that this game is a cinematic experience through and through, and if you aren't prepared for that and expect a steampunk shooter heavily based on shooting segments, well, that's gonna be a problem, because in this game you're gonna have your control more in your lap instead of in your hands. Because 1886 is like a movie-like experience with a sprinkles of gameplay in it, if I could say so. The game presents you with a rich and interesting lore. Like the title says, the game is set in a 1886 mystical, deep and dark version of London, where the city was on the edge of war. The graphics are amazing, so much that the cutscenes, and yes, there are a lot of them, were all in-game cutscenes, and sometimes I would sit and wait just to realize the cutscene is over and I was staring in a gameplay segment. What left me stunned from time to time is how the game manages that transition. Plus, the lighting effects of the electric charging gun, barrel explosion, reflections are top notch, and I found myself often just staring into the distance and enjoying the scenery. As for the most levels, they are linear as they can be, and exploring isn't rewarded at all, sadly. Through the game you can look at certain photos that don't contribute to the gameplay at all. And you will find audio logs which are like in Doom Eternal, but in this case even worse, because you need to open your menu and sit tight and listen to them. What is boring as f***, honestly. The level locations aren't that memorable, sadly. You're gonna fight your way to the city streets, mines and so on. The only level that was amazing is the mission where you infiltrate a goddamn zeppelin. That was bonkers. You're gonna sneak your way near the guards, disable the electric system and try to seek out the rebels. Don't get me wrong, the other levels were good, but nothing didn't stick out to me as the zeppelin level. The soundtrack, I couldn't say it blew me away, but it managed to keep the atmosphere intact, which is important for such a game, so I don't have any extra words on that subject. Now we need to address the shooting element, and if you think it's bad, you're dead wrong. Okay, yes, the game doesn't deliver something new to the table, but the shooting feels right. The only few things that the game stands out in that element are the few modded weapons, like this modified automatic rifle, this electric gun that charges and kills an enemy without aiming, so that's a perfect gun for me. And my favorite, this thing here. I can't say it was effective, but it was fun to play around with it. And the others are your standard weapons like rifles, machine guns and pistols. It's a simple 3D person cover based shooter, but I repeat myself, the weapons have a good impact, the enemy AI is alright, but if you come to this game for the shooting element, you bought the game for the wrong reason. The few werewolf fights were okay. The only most useful weapon was the automatic rifle with a steam to keep your distance. Sadly, there weren't any fights with the vampires, what I found a missed opportunity. And you have two boss fights where you switch from heavy and light melee attack and some quick time events. Well, nothing fancy. Hope you like quick time events, because there are many. But a few times you're gonna need to search the spot to find out which button you need to press. What was at least something new to see. Where the game shines is the story and an amazing and dark gritty atmosphere. Now, let's talk about the story. What is the main focus of the game? And be prepared for some spoilers. The Order 1886 is a game about friendship, death, and betrayal. The player takes control of Sir Galahad, a badass knight of the Round Table. The Order is sworn to protect the main crime from the rise of the half-breeds, a mix of humans and animals, plus anti-government rebels. Galahad's mentor, Sir Percival, one of the Order's most veteran knights, suspect that there is a correlation between the two and requests permission to investigate the rebel stronghold of Whitechapel.
Get in here.
What are you up to? You're in the wrong room.
Get out of there!
Oh! Hello?
Oh, hello there!
His concerns are dismissed by the Lord Chancellor, who believes that the Order should remain dedicated to fighting half-breeds. As you and Sir Percival fight your way through the Zeppelin, Sir Percival gets killed in an attempt to try to reason with a rebel to not blow up the Zeppelin and surrender. The result was that Sir Galahad goes on a rampage after the rebels trying to attack the Order, where he was called many times to retreat. He goes even further and follows the plan of his con friend to try to research how the rebels got hands on their modified weapons and see if there is any collaboration with the half-breeds. He storms to the brothel and finds the Indian woman. As she tries to explain that the problem is in the Order itself, Sir Galahad tries to neglect everything she says.
Here, I'll help you. Try this one. Prepare another.
Finally, he tries to believe her and follows to the Indian docks, where he sees that the crates are loaded with sleeping vampires. After that, he burns them. According to Lakshmi, Lord Hastings is a vampire, known to the general public as Jack the Ripper, with an acting role in the Order. One of Galahad's companions, Sir Lucan, sympathizes with him, however, and joins Galahad and Lakshmi in infiltrating the United India Company headquarters in Mayfair. They found evidence of a conspiracy to traffic half-breeds overseas and encounter Hastings in his vampire form. Before Galahad can act against Hastings, Lucan reveals himself to be a werewolf and attacks Galahad. The two fight, but Lucan flees as the authorities arrive. Galahad is taken into custody, charged with the treason and sentenced to death. He escapes the prison, and that was actually the beginning of the game. After he jumped from the castle, he got picked up by no other than Nikola Tesla himself, which plays a major role in the Order as he is the mastermind of making weapon modifications. But he's also involved in the rebel fighters, and he believes that the rebels aren't that bad actually. After he gives Sir Galahad a potion of holy water that was used since the ages of the King Arthur, Sir Galahad is in a slightly better condition, but still too weak to take any action. After returning to his strength, he sees that Nikola left him, and Lakshmi tells that Nikola feared for his life and fled to the laboratory. Galahad rushed to the laboratory, as he was suspecting that the Order knew that Nicholas was working with the rebels. As arriving there, he finds Nicholas badly wounded and sees once again Lucas. The two fight for the second time, with Galahad emerging as the winner. The mortally wounded Lucan expressed regret for having betrayed the Order, claiming that he did so to save his race from extinction. The two are discovered by Lord Chancellor, who confesses his knowledge of Lucas' true nature. He reveals to Galahad that centuries before he had fought and destroyed an entire tribe of half-breeds, but could not bring himself to kill the infant Lucan, who he adopted as a son instead. The Lord Chancellor orders the evidence of Lucas' betrayal must be kept a secret for the sake of the Order. Unwilling to kill his son, he leaves Galahad to administrate the coup de grace. The two former comrades reconcile, and the remorseful Galahad raises his weapon and fires, killing Lucan as the screen cuts to black. Conclusion. The game ended with a cliffhanger, so it can happen that we get a sequel, what I highly doubt because of the game's bad rating. What is sad, because the game was good, it managed to suck you in with well developed characters and story, and with some solid shooting mechanics. It would be nice that they more empathize more on the fight with the half-breeds, but okay. Still, you will enjoy some great looking graphics and atmospheric music. The problem at launch was that many thought this game was more action based. And second, what was also a huge problem is the length of the game. To pay $60 for a game you complete in one sitting is a very big problem in my eyes. I paid for the game around $7, and for that price range I wasn't disappointed. And honestly, after 6 years, I think now is the time to pick up this game. Honestly, I would recommend you to seek out a copy of the game and play it. And if we may show there is a strong fanbase for this game, maybe we get a sequel sometime. So leave your comments down below. Did you play the game at launch and did you find it good at all? Or do you even consider buying it now? So hope you liked my review of Order 1886. So to help the channel, leave a comment down below, hit that bell and subscribe, I would appreciate it. See you in the next video, stay safe and take care.